Well, my name is Johnny Helms with Colo5 Disaster Recovery Data Center. And what I do for Colo5 Data Center is I deal with a lot of the IT. My background in IT deals with everything from telecommunications, from phone systems to PBX software to fiber being blown, everything from copier machines to the different types of copier machines and the software to integrate the copier machines with the PCs. With Colo5 in the technology department that I work in now, I'm a regional sales representative. What I do is go out and analyze companies' data. And I look at and see how they back up the data off-site. And then I look at their pain points and try to get them to move that data into our disaster recovery data center. That's a great question. The way I identify customers is through networking. When I say networking, I mean going to different events, talking with customers, asking them about their company and what kind of pain points they have about how they back up their data on-site or off-site. And then once I sit down with them and analyze that, I kind of briefly give them a quick description of my job, Colo5 Disaster Recovery Data Center. And for new customers, it's not just the networking. It's anything from newspapers to news stories to overhearing people's conversations, or just run across trucks with advertising on the side of the trucks. You can look at that and take that and say, hey, that company may need my service, so I'll give them a call and schedule a meeting to sit down and discuss their needs. The typical customers we have are your small to medium-sized businesses. And the reason I say small to medium-sized businesses is because your large corporate-based companies have staff and engineers and CCIEs on staff to look at their network and to analyze it. Well, your small and medium-sized companies can afford to hire a Cisco certified or Microsoft certified personnel person. So the small to medium-sized companies are your bread and butter. You can go in and provide them a service. And they always ask, okay, why should I do business with you? How are you going to help my company to keep me from losing data? Within that in mind, when they ask me those questions, is the fact that I have to explain to them how we're set up and designed to help them cut back costs, give them a cost-effective solution to their problem. The questions they ask is, what type of security do you have? What type of redundant power do you have? What type of equipment do you have to hold our information on? How can I access my information if something happens at my office? So those are some of the few questions that a customer would ask. The process is I would go in and sit down with the customers and find out their pain points. What I mean by pain points, I look at how their data has been transferred back and forth, what's keeping the data from moving fast enough, and I look at how their network is set up. And once you analyze their network, it's everything from their data to the servers to the computer systems to the MPX or MPLS network phone systems, you can really analyze their problem. And once you find that problem, you can give them a quick solution to their need. Provisioning process for a new customer, it takes a whole team of people at Colo5 Data Center. It's not just me going out there providing them a service. You have to look at our NOC, our Network Operations System. That NOC, we have CCIEs and Microsoft certified people that have software to analyze every data and the power that comes in and out of the data center that goes into their rack, into their server. Now, saying that in mind, you also have your Chief Technology Officer that we have in our system engineer to make sure we set up the right network for the customer and ask any type of question they may have concerns on. And saying that, you also have to have your cabling guy. Now, those two guys are very important. They set up the rack, they run the wires, they run the PDUs, and they test everything in the rack before the customer puts their equipment in there to make sure everything's up and running. Once again, I go back to the team of people. The roles and responsibilities is me to make sure the customer is happy, to check on them every 60 to 90 days to make sure all their needs are being met. They have questions. They may have new equipment brought in, a new software. And then I would go to our CTO, Chief Technology Officer, and he would talk with the customer and show them how to implement this new solution into their equipment. And then you branch out to everyone else in our organizations to come together to find a solution for the customer. The way the data center is set up is that not only do we house data, store data, but we also are a business continuity data center. That means we have office space inside the data center. So when a customer comes and buys service from us, they may buy office space or lease office space for their company as well. Now, with the customers that come in to Colo5 and we provide service to them, we not only bring them to the table on a business deal. So when I go look at a customer's needs and they may need a phone system, I go to one of the customers we brought in to bring them to the table to sell them their phone systems. So we try to push business the customer's way to help them grow their business, but also build a partnership there where they can bring leads to us as well. By doing that, it builds a very strong relationships between all your customers that you have in the data center or in our company. The way we manage the network growth, you have to pay attention to their technology use. And what I mean by that, you have to look at their bandwidth uses every day. You have to look at their power use every day. You have to look at the whole network. As they add customers to their network, their system grows. And what I mean by system, their network has more data pushing through their bandwidth pipe. By monitoring that stuff every single day in our NOC, we can tell the customers, hey, you may need to upgrade on your power source because you do not have enough of power in your rack to run all the servers. Or you may need more bandwidth because you're pushing a lot more files and encrypted data through those small pipes. You may need a bigger pipe. So, and then you look at their equipment and say, okay, you may need a bigger server to house all this information to keep everything from being backed up. A normal day for network management consists of having you guys in the NOC to monitor the system 24/7, 365, talking to the customer every day, going out and looking at their system and making sure their needs are met. It consists of a lot of things, and it's hard to put it all in words because there's so many entities that it goes in place to do that. It's not just looking at the equipment, but it's also sitting down talking with the customer and see what new things you can implement in our system to cut back cost, to give them new technology, give them more space for data storage or growth. You have all different types of network problems. Anything from customers that hold old servers, their servers may go down. They may have a wire or something that may overheat. You may have data failure. You may have servers to crash. So those are things that you occur every day. Now also, not only having their data inside the data center, at their office, they may have a power outage. They may have an internet outage. They may have a fire damage. That all affects their company and their data. And what I mean by that, if they have those issues at their main office, that data has not been pushed through the pipeline to the data center. But we still have all the data stored at the data center, but they're not able to keep their business running. So when that happens, we'll reach out to them and say, hey, come and lease office space. Bring your employees over. We'll roll your data over out of your rack into the office space so you can continue to run your business and continue to generate money. Because if a company's not generating money, 90% of the time, they go out of business within 12 to 18 months, and you don't want to have that happen. The way we decommission a network for a customer, say a customer goes bankrupt and they no longer need their information. Well, a lot of customers' concerns are, how do I get that information back and you guys are not going to keep it and give it to another customer? Well, we have access to their network, and they would come into the data center, and we would take everything on their server, and we'd take all the data off, and we'd put it on drives for them. They can take the drives with them. While they are there, we'll take the servers apart and destroy any kind of evidence where it cannot be transferred to another company or another computer. So we have different steps that's set in place to help to make the transition smoothly for a company that's going bankrupt or out of business. And they can keep that data and start another company later on down the road. If a customer comes to me and say, hey, we can no longer afford your services because our business is down, we understand in this economy, you have to be very flexible and understand their needs. So what we would do is sit down and negotiate with them where they are and see if they can pay whatever they can pay up front for as their lease or their equipment. If they can't afford to do that, we'll easily help them get out of their lease. We'll keep the relationship with them. You never burn bridges because they always come back to you if you treat them nice and you help them out in a bad situation. We've had a few companies that do that. They went bankrupt. We helped them out, let them out of their lease, gave their equipment and data to them, and they came back a year later because they knew they can trust us to do the right thing to help their new business to get up and grow and move along. The advice that I would give someone or a student coming out of college into the technology world, the best advice I can give them if they're going to look for something in a disaster recovery data center, technology sales, is that a lot of companies don't want to hire new people out of college because of lack of experience. So my advice from networking is to volunteer at a company and get the experience or organization. Once you volunteer and you get that experience, 90% of the time that company will hire you because you're familiar with their network. But it also helps to have that on your resume because getting into data sales, you have to have experience to sell these types of technology. Because it's not just selling a customer off-site data storage. It's everything from analyzing their equipment to looking at the type of equipment, the phone systems, understanding all the technology talk, software talk, the cloud services, managed services, and all those things. So my advice to be a successful person like myself, which I've learned the hard way, you have to volunteer somewhere to get that experience. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 times a week, on the weekends, or what company, to get that experience is very important.